Thus then, this day of your time, we will add now the notion, to cap this off, of what we have called the laws of attraction and repulsion, and the ways in which you use them and the ways in which you can use this very simple but very powerfully profound idea and notion to aid and assist you in accelerating your energy, so that you can match the frequencies coming in, radiating from the leading edge of the collective consciousness as you cross the threshold in 2012, and also so that you may have more clarity and a better capacity, shall we say, to transform very rapidly the idea of any beliefs that you wish to transform, and letting go of those which do not resonate in compatibility with you, and allowing those that do resonate in alignment with your true self to come to the forefront and be incorporated and integrated within the totality of your being. Thus then, let us begin to examine the idea of the laws of attraction and repulsion. Now, we have in some ways covered these ideas from a variety of perspectives and have many times used other words in which to describe these things. And as we move forward in this description and explanation, today of your time, we will also, as usual, to illustrate the point, provide a couple of different permission slip exercises that we will take you through. One to begin with in the first part of this transmission, and one in conjunction with your holotope experience later on as you know time to exist. The idea, however, is profoundly simple. Understanding, as we have already explained on several occasions, that the idea is that you are resonant frequency energy, that your consciousness vibrates at a certain pitch, that you yourself have a particular signature vibration that represents your unique beingness. And this particular resonant vibration, your core vibration, your true vibration, the vibration that represents you as a unique creation, a unique facet of the multidimensional crystal of creation, a unique expression of all that is in a sense a constant vibrational frequency. No matter what you may layer on top of it in terms of your personality structure, in terms of how your beliefs may shift and your feelings may be expressed and your thoughts may play out and your behavior may unfold, always, always, always at your core, there is this signature vibration that goes all the way up the ladder that represents the unique expression, the unique extension of creation that you were created to be. And that is a constant, and it is always with you and is always representative of you. And that is why, as you do continue on your journey in this life, in the idea of the afterlife, in other lives, you will find that the more you integrate and the more you become more of yourself and the more you expand in spirit and soul and the more you take the place in the oversoul and above and beyond all that into all that is, you will find that the perspective you will always retain will be as if all that integration is happening to you. And this will be the perspective you will maintain even in arriving at the level you call all that is. It will be as if you have become all that is. But this perspective, paradoxically, will be experienced by every single facet of all that is. Each aspect, each facet will experience itself in time becoming all that is. And thus then all that is contains all the pieces experiencing themselves ultimately as all that is. This is the holographic nature and the holographic structure of existence, in that every single piece of the whole contains the whole, can express the whole on some level in some way, so that each piece contains all the information of the whole. And in knowing that, you yourself know that you have all the information you need to be whatever unique experience you have chosen to be, and can know that it is always with you, can always be tapped into, can always be downloaded into you, and you don't really have to go seeking anywhere to find it. It's all here, it's all now, because there is only one moment in creation. Now, 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 and now. Always now, never then, never when, never sometime to be. Always it is now. And everything you call a different moment is just the same now from a different point of view. So the idea thus then of the vibrations of attraction and repulsion have been talked about in your society now in recent times with great fervor and great acceleration, because it is now the recognition that this is a true vibratory principle that you can utilize in your life in a variety of ways. That having been said, many of the concepts, many of the ways in which this has been expressed, all well and good, all germane, all perfect for what they are, have in some ways now orbited around the central idea of how this mechanism actually functions. Many of you have a certain idea that when you talk about the law of attraction, you know that if you order your frequency to a certain level, in a sense, if you pattern yourself in a certain way, you will attract those things that are of similar vibration. And in a sense, that is so. And you know that if you allow yourself to be out of alignment with your true self, you will attract things, in a sense, that are of the vibration of misalignment. And in a sense, that is so. And you know that when you have a vibration that is not compatible with something else, you know that the law of repulsion will come into play, in that those things that exhibit more and more incompatibility, vibrationally speaking, will drift farther, 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 and farther apart from each other until such time as those things that are truly incompatible with one another will simply cease to experience one another, because they will no longer really be sharing any kind of an agreement of the same reality experience. This is the other thing that we have also mentioned about in the crossing of the threshold in 2012, and what we have referred to by analogy as the train station. The idea that you have many tracks and they all go through this station. But after they go through this station, they start to split apart to go to their own individual destinations. And at first, the tracks are still relatively close together after they leave the station. But the longer the train travels, the farther apart it will get from any other train, from any other track. And so it becomes, in a sense, less likely that you'll be capable of shifting from train to train, from track to track, the farther apart the trains and the tracks get. And this is why it is so important now, in this time, to be on the track you really wish to be on. There will be a short amount of time in which you will still be capable of perceiving the other trains, the other tracks, but it will also in time be more and more difficult and less probable that you'll be capable of shifting from one track to another. So it is a good idea to make sure that you've bought a ticket on the appropriate train now that it's leaving the station, while you still have the opportunity to experience what it is you say you prefer to experience. Thus then, this is an analogy of the law of repulsion, in that all these incompatible vibrations will begin to segregate out and push away from everything that is not, in that sense, compatible with it. This idea shows you that repulsion is just as strong an idea, just as strong a force, if you will, as the idea of attraction. And in that sense, without repulsion, attraction will not find the places in which those things that you are attracting can reside. For you must make room for those things that are you by letting go of those things that are not. Now, herein lies the real profound understanding and the core of this idea of the law of attraction and repulsion. Many of you, because again of the way you've been taught to sort of express yourself, to think, to frame things, to label things, to define things in your physical reality, have this kind of a picture in your head that when you vibrate in a certain way, you are attracting something from somewhere else to here. And that when you, in a sense, release something else, you are releasing it, so to speak, from here to somewhere else. Well, of course, many of you now understand that everything exists right here and now. It's not really coming from anywhere else or going to anywhere else. It is, in a sense, simply being rearranged as a ratio of energy, as a balance of energy, as an equation of energy within the consciousness that you are. But you can still use the analogy of the vibration of attraction and repulsion as you have been doing, and at the same time, we would now like to introduce another way of looking at this, another way of imagining this, another way of picturing this so that you can understand how to let go of any concept of effort or struggle with this idea of attempting to attract and attempting to let go, so that it will help accelerate whatever process you do deem is necessary for you when you plant into this equation this particular variable we are about to introduce. Because you see, this is all about the nature of existence, and you are part of the nature of existence. And in that context, as a part of the nature of existence, there really is no separation between you and existence itself. So the vibrations that we are talking about here of attraction and repulsion, you are really immersed in this energy. It is, in a sense, not separate from you. And because that is so, you can use these principles with the following understanding. I'll just put it to you this way. You are not doing all the work, and you don't have to do all the work, in the following way. The things, the ideas, the beliefs, the concepts, the experiences, the opportunities, whatever you wish to call them, that are vibrating in alignment with your true core self are already doing their utmost to be attracted to you. The ideas, the synchronicities, the beliefs, the vibrations, the opportunities, the situations, the circumstances that are not aligned with that core, radiant, signature frequency that is your true self are doing their utmost to get away from you. The only reason the things that are attempting to get to you don't get to you is that you're keeping them away. The only reason the things that are attempting to get away from you don't get away from you is you are holding on to them and not letting them go. The energy of the law of attraction is not just you attracting things to you. It's the attraction itself being attracted to you, coming to you, desiring to be part of you because it recognizes the vibration that is your core signature frequency and can, by law, do nothing but be attracted to you. The things that are not you cannot do anything but, by law, attempt to remove themselves from the vibration they are not. This is the law. This is the variation of the third law. What you put out is what you get back. But this is the polarity understanding of that third law. That reality itself, existence itself, creation itself, nature itself is vibrating in these ways, and these vibrations can only align with similar vibrations and must move away from what they are not compatible with, unless and because you have been given the free will and the ability to choose to keep something at bay that is attempting to attract itself to you, or hold on to something tightly that is attempting to escape from you. And so everything we have shared with you about getting in touch with your beliefs, Refining your understanding of who and what you are and defining yourself more clearly has been all about the purpose and the focus of understanding how to let go of things that are already attempting to go away and how to let things in that are already attempting to find you and connect with you. You are not doing the work in that sense of attracting and repulsing. The attraction principle and the repulsion principles are automatically built into nature. You are only doing the work of letting the things in that want to come in and letting go of the things that want to go. That's the work you're doing. You don't actually have to learn how to attract. You don't actually have to learn how to repel. You just have to learn to let in and you have to learn to let go. That's all you need to do. Now, doesn't that sound a little more simple? All right. So when you understand that all of these things that are truly representative of your core vibration, the things that are representative of the life you say you desire, wish, prefer, would be overjoyed and passionate to live, now that you know they are banging at your door trying to get in, maybe you will let that door open a crack. And now that you know there are things that are not representative of the vibration of your preference at all, things that are wholly incompatible with your core frequency, that are banging on the inside of the door trying to get out, maybe you will open that door a crack so that what needs to get out can get out and what needs to come in can come in. All you have to do is open the same door. And the things that need to leave will leave. And the things that wish to come in will come in. You will invite them in. And you will invite them to leave. It is as simple as that. They want to be where they need to be. The vibrations that are incompatible with your signature core want to be elsewhere. The vibrations that are compatible with your signature core want to be with you. The reality that they bring with them wants to be with you. The reality that isn't you doesn't want to be with you. It wants to be where it belongs. Let it be where it belongs. Let it go find its home. Let the things that need to find you come home to you. Because they are you. They are your home. They are your frequency. Now you can see with this analogy that you are floating around as individuals in a sea of whirlpools and vortices and eddies that are attempting to locate you. And as you allow them to come in, you will allow them to swirl and spiral into you. And as soon as they begin to swirl and spiral in, when you allow those other things to swirl and spiral out, you will make room for those things that belong with you and give freedom to those things that don't, instead of keeping them prisoner in your dungeon of pain and sorrow and suffering. This is why you have the phrase on your planet, misery loves company. You're holding on to all the things that are reflective of those things that don't belong to you and thus then create misery. Because you think that no one else is knocking at the door. When in fact all the things that would be representative of your joy are out there knocking, going, where is he? Where is she? Why does it seem that no one is home? And that is because you have created, by holding on to those that don't belong in your house, you have created such a cacophony of sound, such an overwhelming volume of sound of all of those individuals being so miserable and chatting in your mind and desiring to get out but not being let out and complaining about it, that you can't hear who's knocking at the door. It overwhelms the sound of that which wants to come in. So, you need to quiet those noises of the things that don't belong, quiet the chatter, and say, you know what? Party's over. It's time for the new party to begin, the one that is more compatible with my vibration. Time for you all that don't belong here to go find the parties you do belong to. Because you see, all things, as we say, serve double duty. And it is not that many of those things are in and of themselves bad or wrong by any sense. It just seems that way because they don't belong with you. And thus then when you let them find where they belong, they can be transformed into positive energy. And thus then everyone can be having a positive party simultaneously by allowing those components to find the correct houses in which they belong, the correct people to whom they belong. So, all of you now with this new understanding that this vibration is a part of nature and is seeking you out, that which is aligned with you, and that this vibration is a part of nature, of those things that wish to move away that don't belong to you, and are attempting to do so, but cannot as long as you use your free will and your belief system to hold on to them. Now perhaps you can relax the idea of feeling like there is something special you need to learn to attract things, and something special you need to learn to let things go. The only thing, as we said, you need to do is let in and let go. You do not need to learn to attract. You do not need to learn to repulse. These things are automatically built into nature, to creation itself. You just need to allow it to operate according to the idea of your true signature frequency. So let us now, for the first exercise, imagine, if you will, by relaxing, taking a deep breath, and closing your eyes, imagine that you are a shiny magnetic metal sphere. You are gleaming, a gleaming, beautiful magnetic metal sphere. And as you know, magnets can both attract and repel. So the idea now is that there are certain other smaller pieces of metal and magnets, some of which are attempting to come toward you, being attracted to you by your energy, some of which are attempting to repel away from you because of the incompatibility of your frequency. Thus then, allow yourself to imagine that this metal sphere that you are has rods extending from it in certain places, and at the end of those rods there is a metal plate, a flat metal plate. And that flat metal plate is keeping at bay, keeping away those pieces that are attempting to reach you. And now imagine that other places on your metal sphere have long, heavy chains. And these chains are attached to the pieces of metal that are attempting to run away from you, to fly away from you, but they can go no further than the length of the chains, and the chains are taut, vibrating, holding on to them. The rods and plates are keeping things away, the chains are holding things back. You are a metal sphere full of rods and chains. Now, allow yourself as this metal sphere to realize that there is a deeper core, that the shell of the sphere is the only thing that has the rods and chains, but that there is a deeper magnetic core deep within this idea. And a higher frequency, because remember, deep within actually means higher above. So even though it may seem in the illusion of physical reality to be inside you, deep down, it is in that sense inside you in a higher frequency. It is actually up in energy. And from this sphere within you comes the true core signature frequency. And now that you know, now that you have been told, now that you have received information through the shell to the core, that there are things that you desire, that you prefer attempting to reach you, and that there are things that you do not prefer attempting to get away, you let that energy and that information sink into the core, and you can now sense the core beginning to accelerate upward in vibrational resonance, becoming more and more and more vibratory, higher and higher in frequency, resonating, vibrating, humming with energy. And as it begins to do so, little tiny cracks begin to appear in the outer metallic shell. And here and there, those cracks start to go up the rods and the plates, and the rods and the plates begin to bend, and the chains begin to snap. And as you allow these cracks to radiate outward, and as the rods begin to crack, and as the chains begin to snap, you see and experience all the things being held by the chains flying away from you at the speed of light. And as the idea of all the rods holding away the things that are attempting to get to you snap and break, all of those things crash down onto the surface and shatter the outer metallic core and connect to the inner core, forming a beautiful crystalline surface of a new idea, a new you, one that is harmoniously and perfectly aligned with its true vibratory signature, and expressing that by allowing all the things that are in alignment with that frequency to come and wrap and form this beautiful, transparent crystalline shell of perfect identity, and allows all the things that are not you to go sailing away at the speed of light off into the endless void to find those places to whom and to which they belong. And you are just left as this perfect, beautiful magnetic core, shimmering, humming, and vibrating in this perfect, beautiful, transparent, crystalline shell that represents a pure alignment of your beliefs, your emotions, your thoughts and behaviors, the personality that you are, forming a pure spiritual envelope, a pure spiritual bubble, a pure spiritual crystalline form, taking its cue from the vibration of your core, having no impediment in it, no idea in it of anything that doesn't belong. It is all in perfect harmony, and it resonates and sings in pure crystal tones, feeding back to the core the vibrations in the form of song and light. And the light beams outward and is seen by creation, and creation rejoices in the pureness of the alignment, of the willingness to be perfectly who and what you were created to be. Breathe that in. And with every breath, understand you are energizing this vibration, this image of your true natural self. And that you now know that anything that does not belong to your vibration, you can simply let go and it will go away. Let it go. It doesn't belong to you. And those things you now know that are of your frequency, your core vibrational frequency, are automatically attempting to come to you, are automatically coming to you, are on their way always, and will appear instantaneously in the manifestation if you allow that door, the freedom to be open, so that the things that don't belong can leave and the things that do belong can come in. Take the hinges off that door. Remove the door entirely. Allow it to simply be an open doorway, an open gateway to all that you are, and allow all that you are not to be on its way. For through that door, things can pass in both directions. You are free to allow for a free-flowing exchange of energy, of that which is you and that which is not, to come and go, freely come and go, with no need to hold on to anything that doesn't belong, and no need to try and attract anything that does. You just know that you are perfectly magnetic as long as you are willing to let it in. And as long as you are willing to let go of what doesn't belong, then there will always be a space for that which does belong. But you must make room. You must make room. So make room for that which is you, and bid a fond bon voyage to that which is not. And let it sail free upon the sea of eternity and the sea of synchronicity, so that it may flow with the eddies and vortices and find its natural place, so that there is balance within creation. All things being who, what, where, and when they perfectly need to be in the eternal now, the eternal sea of all that is, floating free, dancing, swirling, diving, splashing, playing, loving, tumbling in perfect harmony with all other eddies and currents, all toward the source of all that is, the source of unconditional love and light that you now reflect with your perfect crystalline spirit sphere and its vibrating magnetic core of your unique truth. Breathe it in and let it out. And breathe it in and let it out. And breathe it in and hold on to nothing. Let it out. And let this be as natural as breathing. For every breath you know you need to take in, that is the law of attraction. And every breath you know you need to let out, that is the law of repulsion. Let this be as easy as breathing. Let it be as natural as breathing. So that all things that want to come to you with every breath. And all things that wish to go away with every exhalation. Let it be the cosmic breath in and out of attraction and repulsion, of that which is you and that which is not. Taking it in, letting go. Taking in, letting go. It is the cosmic breath of creation, the cosmic breath of all that is. Breathe easy. Breathe as one. Conspire with the Creator. Allow yourselves now. Reconnect to whatever reality you have so deemed you now exist within, knowing that you have in many ways rewired yourself in this perfect crystalline way, that you are a new vibration, a new personality, a new idea, and a new